Informal assessment of a child with disability. If you have a child with disability, or if you are a teacher of a child with disability, you can make an informal assessment of the child, if you want to help the child. Anyone with an observant eye can do it, especially a concerned caregiver, or a teacher. Now, let us understand what assessment is. Assessment is the gathering of relevant information to help individuals involved in the education of the child make right decisions. Assessment should be individualized, meaning, we assess one child at a time, because every child's strengths and weakness are different from any other child. Even if some children have the same disability, each of the children have different needs. Assessment should be pragmatic. Assessment should be based on the reality of the child's life. We will make an educational plan for the child, so we have to make an applicable solution to the child's weaknesses and problems. Our solutions have to fit the reality of the child's needs. Assessment should be multidisciplinary, meaning, the child should be assessed through different point of views, and practitioners of different disciplines may participate in assessing the child. When you assess the child, you have to look into the different domains of his life. These are the 6 domains in a child's life that we have to consider in the inventory of the child's strengths and weaknesses. The cognitive domain, the communication and language domain, the activities in daily living, the psychosocial domain, general motor coordination, and the metacognitive domain. Why is assessment important? Assessment is important because it is crucial in the placement, formulation of goals, and teaching strategies that will be used by the teacher, and other therapists involved with the child's education. It is important, because it tells us where the child is, or the current performance level of the child. Assessment is also important, because it tells us the educational need of the child, or his weaknesses. It is important, because it will be used to formulate the Individualized Educational Program, or the IEP. It will guide the educators in the formulation of the goals in the IEP. Assessment also is important, because it includes other services that the child needs. It is important, because it also states a home program. Assessment is important, because it may contain teaching strategies needed to deal with the child, such as resource center, inclusive learning center, and one-on-one instruction. Let us now begin to assess your child informally. Let us start with activities in daily living. This is very important because this will help the child to adapt and function well in his environment. For a child with disability, priority should be placed in his adaptation and function in his environment. Therefore, we will first look into his activities in daily living, and his self-help skills. The self-help domain focus on skills that allow or disallow, or diminish self-sufficiency, and independence. It includes skills on how the child takes care of his body, such as bowel management, toilet hygiene, bathing, dressing and grooming, and eating. It also includes how the child adapts to his environment like drinking, and identifying edible from non-edible food. Monetary skills, avoiding dangers, buying, and performing simple chores at home. The cognitive domain focus on the mental processes of construction, acquisition, use of knowledge and perception. Memory and conceptual skills such as comprehension and reasoning. The communication and language domain focus on skills that deal with the child's receptive language and expressive language. Receptive language includes auditory memory, sequencing, association and comprehension of words. Expressive language includes using words, expressing self clearly and articulately, answering, requesting and directing. It also includes writing and reading skills. The psychosocial domain focus on the child's interaction with the social environment. How he interacts with his peers, the adults in his life and his play behavior. It indicates his relationship with others, whether he is able to establish meaningful relationships. It also determines his ability to give of himself, and empathize with others. The general motor coordination focus on the combination of body movements created with the kinematic, such as spatial orientation, and kinetic force parameters that result in intended actions. Motor coordination is achieved when subsequent parts of the same movement, or the movements of several limbs or body parts, are combined in a manner that is well-timed, smooth, and efficient with respect to the intended goal. This involves the integration of proprioceptive information detailing the position and movement of the musculoskeletal system, with the neural processes in the brain and spinal cord which control, plan, and relay motor commands. The metacognitive domain focus on activities that include planning how to approach a learning task, using appropriate skills and strategies to solve a problem. Monitoring one's own comprehension of text, self-assessing and self-correcting in response to the self-assessment, and evaluating progress toward the completion of a task. Attached is the psychoeducational assessment form that we use in Birthright. You may use this in assessing your child. This is very helpful in making an inventory of your child's strengths and weaknesses. This form will also help you see the weaknesses of your child so that you can formulate goals for his education or make a home program for him.